right, testing. Are we on? Am I on the internet? Testing, 1, 2. Testing. Is anybody here? Is this thing on? It's happening. Good morning. Check. I think I have audio. Someone confirm you can hear me so I can relax. Or not. All right. I'm going to keep doing what I was doing. Good morning. This is, it's Wednesday. It's streaming day. And, hello, Mr. Woods. Can you hear me? Testing 1. Okay, excellent. All right, I think I can be heard. I think. Okay, good. I did a stream once for 30 minutes in silence, so I'm trying never to do that again. But good morning, my name is Kurth. I'm a comic book colorist. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And, boy howdy, do we have a good one today. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, this is for Kill Your Idols is the name of it. And it's a cover for it's a little anthology I did with Tim Seeley. This is drawn by the incredible Steve Kurth. And Tim sent it. He's like, hey, do you want to color this? I'm like, yes. I don't know. There's no other information required. Yes. So I love this, the insanity of this. It's gorgeous, it's beautiful, it's incredible, and I'm trying to help it out here with some color. I'll show you guys what it looks like without all of my shenanigans. Since I got started early today, I have to leave a little early today. I have a date with the Pelicans. And who are they playing? The Grizzlies. And I have, I'm a season ticket holder for next year, like 12 games, not the whole thing. I can't afford the whole thing, but that's enough to every now and then you get the courtside experience shoot around, and I'm doing that again today. So I'm excited about that. Literally like first row, hopefully. We're getting there very early. Grab some beignets. Here's the thing. All right, I'm gonna do a little. I'm gonna color actually, and then while I'm coloring, I'm gonna try to rant about the food in the Smoothie King Center. So whoops, interesting look. Not what we're going for. But yes, this is like. Is there a city in the U.S. better known like for its food? Like, I don't know. I would make the argument that no. Like, New Orleans is probably it's known for its food than anything. And you would not know this based on, based on the food in that place. Soggy chicken strips and Cajun fries is about as fancy as it gets in that building. You can order some Zatarans. Jambalaya that tastes like it is about 80% salt. This is New Orleans. Where's like, I want some gumbo. I want some beignets. I want something with some shrimp in it. Like, the food is terrible in that place. I'm like, how did they let that happen? Anyway, you guys are probably here to learn something about coloring, huh? What advice can you give to an upcoming comic? You're trying to get in the industry. Start doing stuff. Whether it's your own stuff, whether it's working for somebody else, just start doing some stuff. And if your stuff is good, people will notice and they'll start hiring you. There's my groundbreaking advice You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know what people do anymore. But no, there's tons of publishers out there. There's tons of indie comics being made. But don't wait on someone to give you permission to start. Just you got to start doing it. You got to start getting the bad pages out of the way. You got to start learning the job. Like, this is a job that you kind of learn on the job, but you can't start it if you've never done it before. So you better start doing it. That would be my advice. Anthologies, pitches, shorts, 2-page things, 4-page things, like anything that you can think of that will give you a little work is what you should be doing. That is my advice. And so right now, for this particular cover, I'm doing the grayscale thing again, which this is like 3 covers in a row that I'm going grayscale first, and I'm a little surprised at myself. I just didn't expect this to work so well. I wouldn't have been able to do this though like this even a year or 2 ago. I've learned a lot about rendering the last couple of years, and I think that's what kind of pushed it over the top. But I'm doing all of this in gray first because from a rendering standpoint, it's incredibly faster than trying to do this part in color, and it's not close. Like, it's not close for me. Even the extra step of adding color, I don't think I would get as much detail in it had I did it the old-fashioned way, you know? The old-fashioned way. Sure. But this is really more... I'm planning on doing another, like, hard rendering light pass on this that is independent of everything I'm doing here. Like, this is almost... Like, this is basically a... what the 3D people folk call ambient. I'm kind of thinking ambient shadows here, like ambient occlusion type stuff. So basically, like, the light has direction-ish, you know, like it's definitely like lit from the top. I'm following the, you know, the lighting on the drawing, but I'm also planning on doing another layer of light and shadow over this independent of this, which I haven't tried yet. That is what I'm experimenting with today. So welcome. Hope you enjoy yourself today. Hope you learned something, maybe. But this kind of rendering is just fun to me because I don't really have to think. At least I don't. I can't speak for anybody else. But this is about as brainless as it gets for me. This is how you draw muscles, people. This is how you draw comic book muscles. Like, everything is bulging. I love it. I love this dude's art. I love it. Steve Kurth is his name again. It's the first time I've ever colored him before. That's one thing I like working for Tim Seeley. He wrote this series and created these characters. He just knows how comic books should look. We're very much, I think, in the same mindset. Maybe that's why he keeps hiring me. That might be it. I think the key words are smoothie and king. Such a sponsor could not be more antithetical to the city in which the arena resides. I'm with you. I'm with you. I mean, I do think that. Uh, I do think that it's one of those things that, like, I like the blender. I like the name of the place, the blender. It makes sense. It's kind of a funny name. The place looks like a blender. It's very, But yeah, Smoothie King Center is a pretty dumb name. It's almost as dumb as Pelicans as a name to me. But hey, what do I know? I would love to do covers. That's what everybody says. Everybody wants to do covers. Who wants to draw all those pages? Just pay me $1,000 to do a cover, right? Yeah. Just know that is a great goal to have, and it's very, very difficult to do as a beginner. Because why hire a beginner for covers? It's still flatted normally. Yes, Ben, it is. Sorry, I'm just now seeing your question. These are good old regular old flats under here. Shout out Joel Bartlett, who is he's been in my community, and he's around the Discord, I think, for a couple of years now. And my usual flatter was under the weather, and he killed it. And it just a perfect job, I would say. There's so much to do on this, and he did a fantastic job. And he even did a little the big flats thing is what I call it, to be able to get all the big stuff too. So just shout out Joel Bartlett if you need a good flatter out there. All right, what else we got with Vlad? This is Vlad, by the way. Hello, redacted computer. How are you? Oh yes, Super Patriot. Did you gray in the values? I am doing the values as we speak. This is a black and white cover. There is no gray on it. Not from the artist. Not from the artist anyway. For me. Thank you to whoever linked Jason. Thank you for linking the brush. It's just a watercolor brush that I use not as a watercolor brush very well, but yeah, I like it. I think I tell this story every time I color Vlad, but I know there's some beginners here, and so you'll appreciate this. Vlad, this guy here, his skin is extremely gray with just the slightest little bit of coolth, not warmth, coolth. That's my favorite word. Little grayish, greenish, bluish sort of skin. And the first time that I ever colored him, I think it took me like 4 tries, because I had not yet learned of this thing called color relativity, which means that gray is gonna, especially gray colors, things that are very gray, are going to pick up whatever the color of the environment is in a very strong way, And so Tim would be like, well, it's not quite that green. And I'd send it back. Well, it's not quite that blue. And I'd send it back. Well, it's not quite that warm. And finally, I was like, oh, he's just really freaking gray. And so it wasn't him that was the issue. It was all the other colors around him. But anyway, I used to see this character in high school. This whole little series, if you're of that age, Jeremiah, you might want to check out this book, because it's called Hack Slash versus Image, I think, or Hack Slash Kill Your Icon. I've seen a couple of names for it, but it's got Cabot and Super Patriot and what is this guy's name again? Shadowhawk or whatever his name is. Anyway, yeah, it's basically Hack Slash versus old Image stuff. So you'll definitely enjoy it. The beard is growing back slowly but surely. Yes. Hack Slash is so good. I'm biased. I wrote the timeline. Oh, I'm aware of that timeline. He's like quasi undead green. Like sort of, but even he's not really like the green is freaking subtle, man, and it's tough. It's a tough color if you're not used to it. Um, anyway, none of these values also are very bright or, I mean, some of these are on the dark end, yeah, but I'm trying to keep it pretty subtle because, again, like my intention is to do some other stuff over the top of this later, but we're not quite there yet. Look at this wrinkles on this shirt. I am this dude is killing me. This artist is incredible. I'm really impressed. I'm so out of the loop on like who's cool and drawing these days and who's good and what's going on, and so yeah, I'm digging it. And the ink work is also like so intricate, so like I'm trying not to like completely obliviate it, just in the dark areas. I really want to make sure all that comes out. There's nothing I hate more than like super intricate ink work and then the colors are so dark you can't even tell what's going on. Like let the dude let it go. Like, let the art do its art stuff. And yeah, I'm trying to get the the worst of the details done first so that I can get to everything else afterward. And these things, let's just do right down the middle. But yeah, I'm thinking all of the organic stuff will go pretty fast, and I'm not going to detail the two guys on the bottom quite this much, obviously, because they're further away. And let's see. Oh, here's his hand. I kind of forgot his hand. And some of this, like what I'm doing now, is like just vaguely directional light because so much of this is already there. And so is the color is where this will separate, but we're not quite there yet. All right, what's missing? What is that? Oh, it's just more. Is it more metal stuff? Yeah, oh, that's a leg. Yeah, it's his knee. Dirt. Okay, I got it. I recognized it after I backed off a second. And again, it's in like a little tucked away area, not very important, so I'm not going to go nuts on the contrast like I did everywhere else. And I'm actually going to, let's do this stuff next because, all right, what am I looking at here? So we've got some rocks, broken concrete and rebar, it looks like, and a lot of dust and bricks, and so they're like busting through a wall, it looks like. And so what I'm gonna probably do is we'll make the inside one color and the outside another color. As far as the room they're breaking into, where down here, all of that, we'll do that a different color, different temperature, push it back, all that stuff. But then the light from that, I'm thinking red because it'll look cool with Super Patriot. have the red like as a fill, like flood in the shadows on the guys, that would look very dramatic. Yeah, we'll do that. Something like that. Let the art stuff do art stuff. Yeah, exactly. What did I say yesterday in the Discord that I thought was very nothing is always anything? When someone was like, "Do you always is low contrast always bad?" I'm like, nothing is never always anything. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if that's ever been said before, but I liked how that came out. It's just confusing enough to make you think about it. Oh, hey, Doug, how's it going? Yeah, it was your post, I think. In your opinion, would grayscale to color be a good technique to learn at the beginning of a coloring journey, or is it too advanced? Watching you level up your gray to color skills in real time is a privilege. Goat status. Thank you, Teddy. Thank you to all the members that are here, by the way. Just getting the rendering looks stunning. Thank you, Rant. To answer your question, Doug, I don't know, really. I mean, it's one of those things that, like, you can't color without understanding value anyway. Like, and so I don't really know how to I don't really know how to think about that. If you can, is it, I don't know. I don't know if it's a good thing for beginners. I really don't know how to answer that. For me, it came later. I don't think this is really advanced. I mean, it might feel advanced from a technique standpoint just because it feels different or whatever, but I don't think this is advanced. I mean, and you guys correct me if I'm really off base there. I have been known to be oblivious to big dumb things before. But yeah, what do you guys think? Like, because like I said, I think in these terms anyway. You know what I mean? Like, even when I'm picking colors, I'm thinking in terms of value first. And so, to me, I think that's why it comes so easily to me, if I may say that, because I was already doing it. This is just like the purest form of all the decisions I've been making for the last, couple of years, is just going straight to this is just, for me, is actually a more basic thing, if that makes sense. But there are some, there are technical things to figure out and stuff that will probably, I'll tell you, if you watch the last couple of streams, and I don't mean this in an advertising kind of way, but really, the last 3 coloring streams where I did grayscale to color are absolutely full of a lot of tips on working that way. And so I would watch all of those and then figure it out from there too. Yeah, I started a little early, Mr. Powerlifting. Sorry about that. This was a busy one, and I kind of want to finish today. I don't know if I'll be able to. It'll be close. I gotta get to New Orleans a little bit later. Your Mark Brunays would tell you the importance of learning graded color to get used to values. Like, well, Mark knows what he's doing. Listen to Mark. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's a good idea. Yeah. I'll co-sign that. I think Mark does good stuff. All right, these rocks, it's just texture. I'm not really like even thinking a whole lot about lighting on this just yet. That's gonna be later. I don't really even know what color all of this stuff is going to be yet. I just know that I want it to mostly be dark-ish. And that's about all I can tell you right now. That's why I'm not getting too crazy with the values here. They're all on the dark to mid-tone side of things. And yeah, I don't want it to look flat and empty. For now, it needs to have some stuff going on in it. That's my super creative way of thinking about that. Yeah, do stuff in the area where the stuff is. But my thought process right now is just keep the contrast sort of low against itself here. You know, like I'm not getting too much value swings just yet. There might be a lot of value swings in this, but I'm building it up slowly. Slowly. And I'm still running into low places and I'm like not done anything on. Like, good grief. The detail in this is insane, man. Look at this. Like, and you can follow every little piece of metal. Like, it's not faked and it's not like, oh, there's some junk stuck to his arm. Like, you know, it's there. It's all there. But you'll notice how he's got that little bit of this little bit of dark, kind of almost like. Why can't I draw? Here we go. Nope. One more time. I've got a selection. There we go. This, you see how that's kind of dark through there? That's very dark, simple right there. Like, that little bit is something that, like, if I want all of this to create an edge, which I do, I need to keep all that stuff simple. Because this is complicated. This is simple above it. Does that make sense? All right, what else? I think that's good enough for that right now. I reserve the right to revisit that texture later. Or those values later, I meant. Actually, how about a gray? There we go. What are you doing to get those quick sections of selections? Like the rocks and smoke? I'll link you a video. I did a video specifically on that. Hold on. That's one, Jason, that we need to keep on like speed dial, because everybody at least once asked that. My brain is not working. Where is my channel? There we go. And quick clip color trick. I think that's what it is. Copy link. There we go. There's a timestamp on that too. Don't like back it up. I didn't intend to copy the timestamp. Um, how to use flats. I don't know what the name of the video was. But I did a video on it. I basically have my flats set to a reference layer, and then I'm using the wand to refer to that layer. So the wand is not picking selections from the values because there's no selections here. That looks really cool, actually. But no, yeah, there's no selections on that layer. All of my selections are on this layer. And so if you set your wand to select for referred layers or selection for referred layers, and then hit the flats and hit that little button where it says reference, it will always pick from that layer regardless of what layer you're on. And that's actually the primary reason why I use Clip Studio. Because unless you're like writing custom scripts for Photoshop, which is how I know one colorist that makes it work, there's no way to do that in Photoshop. And so it's just an extremely, extremely helpful time saver. And it's like, it's not close. Again, keeping the rendering on him pretty simple, or relatively simple compared to everybody else. Just kind of hinting right now at a few little lights and shadows, but he's smaller and he's not as important visually, and so save yourself some time and don't overdo it. And especially like something like his leg, again, like I'm just gonna like select like all of that basically, and just again like sort of hint that there's some shadows going through there, but it's again like not a, this is a place of like relatively less detail, or should be, in my opinion. And that guy, dead guy arm. Oh, we have a Canada goose in our neighborhood now. I don't know how he found us, but he's just hanging out and upsetting a neighbor because he keeps like pooping in her yard. But I kind of dig him. They've named him Gustav, so there's that. I have always kept a finger on the switch subtool shortcut key, as I'm always on the wrong one, referring to editing layer when I want to use the reference layer and vice versa. Oh, that's a smart move. Yeah, I just click mine. I probably should have a keyboard shortcut, but I have stopped introducing new keyboard shortcuts to to my workflow because I'll set them and then like I'll forget they exist. So if it's not one of the shortcuts that I've been using for the last 10 years, it's like it doesn't stick. Excuse me. Hello, Create My Comic. How's it going? Is the goose loud? I don't ever hear him unless he's taken off. It's like he has like a warning thing, like I'm coming up, and it's like all the way up, you know. Here's a simple question that's possibly stupid. Is 50% value halfway down the color square? I saw you check your value percentage once. I couldn't remember how you did it. Yeah, like right there, roughly, is 50 on the value. There's 75, there's 100, there's 25. What I did on this one was I set the base like basically as dark as I wanted it to be. You know what I mean? So at any point, it's I don't know, it's probably 75 or ish or whatever. What is it actually? I mean 25. Yeah, 25 is the value number. It doesn't really matter, I don't think, specifically what the number is. But setting a basically a bottom value will you know, it sets one end of your spectrum of choices, and that way you don't have to worry about you know, getting too dark. And any of this can be changed at any time. I will probably tweak this with some levels adjustments at some point or something, but before I get going, because my value choices are not perfect. I mean, most of the time they are. But no, I'm kidding. I actually got your coloring course back when you were streaming with David Finch. Thank you very much. Finished it in a week. I didn't have time to be active in your Discord or here on YouTube. Is there a reason you're doing this in black and white? What? You guys aren't seeing color here? No, it's black and white because I like working this way now. I don't know how to, you know. It's I've been working this way on covers recently, and I've been impressed with the results, and especially how quickly the detail comes together. And so yeah, that's why. I don't all right, there's that. And then I'm going to go not quite as bright on all of this because he basically wears black, and so I'm not gonna change that very much. It's not meant to be especially reflective, I don't think. But that kind of pulls him, that the bright parts of him sort of pulls him away from the guy behind him right here. And just pushing some of these values a little bit brighter. And good lord, I think we might be done with this stage. Well, there's some more to do at the bottom, I just noticed. Not so fast. It worked fine when I did your course. For whatever reason, I seem to be a bit blind regarding to values. I have more success coloring in gray tones first and then put color on it. Yeah, like whatever cranks your tractor, man. Like it's I say on this channel often a quote that I heard from Nolan Woodard. What is his name? I've forgotten his name. Woodard, sorry, Nolan. um, there are as many ways to color as there are colorists. Don't forget that. There's not like, oh, this is the way. You're supposed to do this layer first and this. Like, some people look at what I'm doing and go, you're insane. You should do this on, 70 layers. And then there's other people that go, why are you only using one layer? How are you doing that? And then there's people that only do one layer on everything. Those crazy people. No, I'm kidding. But anyway, whatever works for you. There's some real world advice there you can apply. Alrighty, there we go. Lovely. What's all that back there? More scrap. More stuff. Again, keeping the contrast relatively low compared to everything else. And let's see. So, I like it. So, from a value standpoint, this is all the big planes are not separated by values or anything like that. The values here are more about just light and shadow detail. The next stage is where we're going to start separating all the big stuff out. Let me save this. And let me make sure, is the time lapse working? I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, it is. I'm going to go ahead and export this real quick, because I don't trust to not crash or something. This is a good spot to have a video. Let's see. But no, yeah, the whole black and white thing is just a, if you missed my explanation earlier, if I had to make color choices to get this much detail in, it would have taken me a much longer time. And give me a second here. Let me save this video. Wrong folder. There it is. Do I use a specific set of gray tones? No, I do not. So now what I'm going to do is anything that needs to be pushed, we're going to push. So this is a levels correction, and it describes the dark. Everywhere there's a dark pixel, you get a point on this little graph. Basically, this is the dark end. This is the light end. You'll notice that all of the tones on this are just in the middle, because all of the tones on that layer are only in the middle. They're like I'm selected his tank top here, so I'll make this a little bit bigger for y'all. How about that? Yeah, there we go. So I'm just going to open up this. If I want to brighten that shirt, I'm going to pull the right side to here. And if I want to adjust the middle tones, I can move that left and right. But I want to make sure I get some of all that work that I just did, so I don't want to blow it out. And then we can even darken the dark stuff a little bit. And so even after you're done, you can really kind of dial in all of these things a little bit more. Let's see. Let's brighten that a little bit. That like knife blade, probably the knife. Might as well. All of the white on him, I'm gonna brighten a little bit. And that includes his hair. He's got that 90s white gray hair that no one has in real life at that age. And everything else I kind of dig. I'm probably going to brighten all of that a little bit to bring out Cabot's silhouette back there and get us the silhouette on Vlad's other arm. And so now we've got like, if we've kind of got a gradient almost from, well, it's not almost now, from light to dark going up. You know, the top's dark with some bright spots in it. The light part at the bottom is light with darker spots in it. And then where everything meets in the middle is where everything meets in the middle. And my brain is literally exploding with the push realization. What do you mean? I'm really going to have to try the values first method as soon as I get a piece that it makes sense for. It looks fun. It's really fun. It is really fun. The first thing I'm going to do to color over this is I've got an overlay layer here. If you're wondering how those layers just magically appear as I do this, it's because I'm running an action. F3 is set to create an overlay layer, and F4 is set to create a hard light layer. And so I hit F4 and it creates a hard light, and I hit F3 and it does the overlay, which is what I'm going to be using on this. And this is very much how, like, from a traditional standpoint, you can think of it in terms of almost like glazes or like an underpainting or something. So anyway, but overlay is great for values in general because it will ignore a perfect white and perfect black. It doesn't do anything. And then as you get toward gray is where overlay really starts to influence things. And you can also use it to, I'm using overlay now, to brighten the bright parts of something, like for example his arm, without it affecting the shadows very much. So I'm kind of trying to like add some volume a little bit because they look a little flat to me. And so what this does is you'll see that it's not like just blowing out all the work I did. Like it's changing what's there, and that is what we want here. And but yeah, I'm just gonna merge that because I don't want to deal with all that. And let's see, I'm gonna go to my big flats first and select, let's see, Control A will select everything, and then I'm gonna remove everything that I don't want to include in what I'm about to do. I'm just using, again, I'm using this layer of flats. It's a simplified version of the flats of just the big elements, and so you can get them all at one time. That's a big time saver. And we don't need that guy's arm. There we go. And I'm going to pick, like, again, because Super Patriot's red, white, and blue, I do think I want at least some. This background's going to lean cool, I think. Whoops. And overlay will affect your values a little. So let me show you what I mean by this. If I put this on a gray layer on top and set it to color, that's before and after that overlay layer. So on overlay, even if the color you choose is darker than your average value, it will darken. And so I don't really want it to darken, I just want it to affect the color. And so I'm going to go to that overlay layer and actually increase the brightness of that a little bit. Turn the saturation down some. And that I think I like. And now you can see it's not really impacting the values of the image very much, but it is adding color. Okay. And on the bottom, I'm actually just going to select, control-click that overlay layer, which selects all of that we just did again. Invert that selection. And I'm going to add another color down here. And I don't know if I want to... How do I want to do this? Sometimes you can just try all the colors. Let's hold off on that, actually. And where to begin? Now, this is the part that I am not 100% sure about. But let's see what happens. I'm going to do this separate from that big area of that blue overlay. And find a color that feels about right. And I also have right now the what do you call it? The CMYK preview is on also. So what I'm getting here should be pretty close to what it's going to look like in print. Excuse me. It's just 5 layers. It's really efficient. Yeah, I mean, yeah, effectively, yeah. I mean, I'm doing some additional stuff just to make it easier for myself to change later. Like, because at this point, even with all of this, you know, this is on its own layer, okay? So even at this point, I could come in and say, oh, I think that thing should lean this way, or it should lean that way, or whatever. Like, all of that's going to blend. Damn, that looks good. All of that's going to blend together in an interesting way. Man, I like that. I like that. I'm going to keep that for now. Happy accidents, people. Happy accidents. They're my favorite. That's why I do those on separate layers, though. And I'm not just filling it. Like, I'm you know, I'm using the airbrush to hit the top of this. And so it's all of the shadows are sort of leaning into that greenish color. And if you ever put something down, you're like, I don't know if that's right or right. You know, again, go in there, saturate it, desaturate it, like figure out what it is you want to do. Green tends to neutralize skin tones quite a bit. And so, you know, something to keep in mind. Okay, I don't want to select all of these things separately, so I'm going to go to my big flats layer and select all of that and all of that. And I don't want this stuff to be included. So I'm going to go to the big flats layer and actually change that to a different color. Yeah, something like that, so that I can only select the guns. And I'm going to go to like a bluish color. maybe tealish. Lean it that way. And let me make sure. I'm going to lock these layers so I don't screw them up. And you see now this blue is blending. It's blending with all of the values that we've already done. And the only thing to watch out for with this, I will say as a bit of a warning, is that if you're not blending the colors with other hues at all, like you will only end up with, you know, like all of these greens are really close to this, to a similar. If I turned this off, they're all in the same exact value range or the same hue, and so that can get boring. Yeah, I actually do want this to feel a little bit more blue, but my thing with this kind of stuff is like, I would like the flexibility of being able to go in and say, you know what, I want to take some of this green out of the out of the arms. You know, I want them to come forward more. I just turn the saturation down on that layer and it's going to do that, you know. So it gives you a lot of flexibility if your brain works like mine and you're constantly like, you know, trying to find ways of making interesting colors more interesting. And there we go. And all of that blue is a little too much, so I'm going to turn it down. I want it to lean blue, but not like be blue. I'm working on a page now, and the line art has 10 layers. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna get a little bit closer on the guns. And some of these little areas where they're reflecting, I want to push the values or push the hue in a different direction. In this case, a little more toward teal, I think, just because, I mean, that's because the environment's mostly green. Autosave. Sorry. Excuse me. How's everybody doing? Everybody good? And I'm afraid to figure out Vlad's skin tone. No, I'm going to start with his shirt. If you're just joining, we're joking about how difficult his skin tone is to do right. He's about that color. Like, he is. Almost exactly. So... let's see. It kind of works. And he wears a mask. And I'm actually just going to go down. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. Flipping the canvas around. Let me grab that again. Sorry, I lost my selection. I'm just going to go to the green layer and actually take it to gray. And that actually is getting his skin closer to looking like it's the right color. Whoops, sorry. And now, because I grayed his mask and his shirt, his skin looks too green. This is what I mean. So I'm going to turn the saturation down on that layer, which gets us about where it needs to be. Color! Yay! Yeah, I think actually having him just be grayer in general is helping. How am I doing on time? It's 10:30. All right, we're doing good. We're doing good. And all of these rocks and things. There's one, there's one. Trying to get all the rocks. Is that all the rocks? I think it is. Same thing there. I'm just going to turn the green down a little bit to gray that out. Not completely, but... And, of course, we can shift the values around a little bit if we want to, but I don't think I do just yet. And on the smoke and whatnot, all of this dust and stuff. Let's see, what happens if we... Let's see, let me tint this. Which way do we want to go with this? If we go warm, that doesn't really feel right to me. I think I like it cool. I think I want to keep it that way. I'm actually going to get all these rocks again. And where are they? There. Oh, and there. And I'm going to go to the values underneath and actually brighten those a little. So I'm actually just brightening the values here and letting the rest of the color do its thing. Yep. And then all of that blade handle, see how most everything around it is cool. He's gray, that it's kind of a cool yellow even. The gun's cool. And so if we do warm on the blade, like that little area comes forward. And if it's not warm enough, warm it up. All right. You guys are going to be experts after this, right? All right, let's see. All right. And on the bottom side, I think I know what I want to do here, but I'm not sure. So we're going to try something. This is a hard light layer actually, because here's why. Why hard light and not overlay? First, I want to choose this red and choose overlay because it's going to make it pink, basically, because the overlay is really only going to reflect the underlying values. And so red doesn't look red, right? But a hard light layer, you will get like a more like truer version of whatever the color is you're looking for, whatever you pick. And sorry, my throat is acting strange all of a sudden. Excuse me. But my theory is what we'll do is we'll bring the red light in places into these guys. It's very intense, dramatic, like shadow fills or something. And then that way we're kind of spreading that red around, and it doesn't, and it also kind of echoes the red on this guy, Super Patriot. And I actually want to push these reds just about as much as they can go. And that is about as saturated as I think they're going to get. Can we? Oh, we can go a little bit more. Yeah. You don't have to put on the red light. But yeah, it also does the sort of, I think I tell you about all the time, the example I give of my my cat that has green eyes. Well, if you wear a green shirt around that cat, her eyes just appear to be like neon. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do here with all this red. That this red intensifies the little bit of red that is surrounded by all that cool green. And I'm doing this on a separate layer just because I don't know if I'm going to keep it. No. Yeah, that looks about right. All right. Let's get these guys who right now are completely gray. It's not going to work. And we're going to lean them toward the environment. Not that much, just a little bit. And brighten that a little bit. Where do I want to start with them? Sorry, guys. I'm thinking. There we go. This guy, too. Random hand. Why is that not? Oh. All right. Again, I'm going to let the colors that I want to be here sort of blend with the existing colors. And that should... Is that on the layer above? Sorry, hold on. I'm trying to... Where is that? Okay, there. But this way, you know, all the colors that I'm choosing are effectively working with what's on the canvas already. And I don't remember what... I think this guy is mostly... His costume shifts every time somebody draws him. It's one of those kind of situations. But the other thing this does, so basically the orange is acting as a shadow color, basically. You got your pouches. You gotta have your pouches, people. Pouches, pouches. And I'm just trying to reuse as many colors as I can here, as often as I can. But yeah, he's usually cool in orange. But now, this is the reason why I started working like this, because if you've been around a while, you know that I've struggled with this in the past. But if you work like this, specifically, you can still choose the local color, quote unquote, and not have to worry about like, oh, I want the local color but tinted orange 12 degrees or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm really glad that that works that way. I really am. And let's see. Let's just cool all this off too. Quick experiment. I'm trying something. It may or may not stick. Hold on. Yeah, that'll work. I just want to pull a little bit of this warmth up in here because there's so much cool. And it is subtle, but it doesn't take very much. I'm going to go to the values on Vlad and push those a little bit more, a little bit further apart. Oh, I'm missing a... There we go. And again, this is all just working with everything I've done so far. And so I don't have to redo anything. And his eyes are yellow. Alrighty. And how am I doing? Oh, what time is it? It's not even 11. Okay, wow. I'm going to select all of his chrome. And let's cool that off again because the background is so so warm that I just the slightest bit of Kurth is all it takes to cool something off. And then his costume, which currently appears to be warm, I'm going to cool it off too. And it'll basically turn to gray because orange and blue neutralize each other. And so he'll tend to gray out, but that gray really contrasts with all the red around it. It's all contrast. It's all contrast. All right. What a crazy ass cover. Sorry, I'm trying something again. Oh no. Yeah, I get a little more warmth around the guns. Do I like that or not? I don't like it as much. We're gonna back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. Yeah, I liked a little bit of orange on the left, but not everywhere. And I am curious about something. I'm gonna try something I haven't tried before, so bear with me for a second. You know what? Let me just save that selection real quick. And there's something else I want to try. Hold on. To save a selection, I'll sometimes just fill a new layer on top with it, just so I'll delete it in a second if you're wondering what on earth I'm doing. Bright. Maybe right there. Okay, now I can grab that and delete that layer. Are you guys hearing all this noise in my headphones right now? I hope you're not. I'm sorry if you are. Maybe I didn't even need the selection. Yeah. So this is a levels adjustment that I am using to just touch up a little bit of stuff on here and add some shadows a little bit, brighten it in places. So should this be blood? Or is that like sparks? I mean, does he have any blood in there? How far does his shoulder go? Is this blood or motor oil? No noise. Okay, good. We're gonna say it's blood for now. If Tim comes back and it's like, yeah, it's a little much, let's turn it down, then we'll do that. And my number of layers expanded very quickly, didn't it? Yeah, I don't know what to do about that. Yeah, I was trying too much stuff. If I merge that, I bet it doesn't work. Actually, I think I like it better. Let's see, what is that? Let's merge that down. It's shifting a little bit, isn't it? Yeah, that's one thing that I don't care for, how clip handles blending. It seems to, like, I don't know, merging layers of different types or whatever. It seems that it acts weird to me sometimes. Again, I'm just kind of pushing the brights here in a few places. I think this is coming together. You guys like this? Is this working? Again, Vlad and his damn skin tone. This so works. Agreed. I dig it. Are you using the newest release? No, I'm not. I actually saw it, what I thought was an update, and then it said no, this is like the 2.0 is out. And so I'm running the latest version of version 1. And I bought a license. Like, I bought a perpetual license for version 2 for like $20 when it was on sale the other day, which is kind of ridiculous. Not perpetual, whatever the freaking name, whatever they call the license. All right. But I haven't tried it yet. Is what I was trying to say. Okay. To simplify this, so that I don't have to look at all of these things, I'm going to put all of this in a folder. And we're going to call that rendering. And now I'm going to get a... what I'm looking at right now is, that's bugging me, is Vlad is kind of flat color-wise, because I mean he's flat, and so I want to bring in some of that warmth to the opposite side from the bottom, which should really make him look very three-dimensional. Although he looks all right now. He looks great, actually, but I just want to push this a little bit more because this cover's insane. Why not? And I am shocked at the time. So I started when? I started a half hour before the stream started doing the values. So we're at 2 hours right now. And this is like the most detailed cover I may have ever done, which is kind of nuts. I'm doing this on a hard light layer. On a separate layer. And the reason for that is I want this light to be red, all right? I want it to be red whenever what do you call it? Whenever it appears, not pink or anything. So I'm using a hard light layer. And I'm just going to kind of fill in any area that is in shadow. We're going to lean it a little warm. And at the bottom, it's going to be very warm. And it's going to get less warm as it goes up. But what this will do is when you give anything two colors, it's like his right arm excuse me. 2.0 apparently added a bunch of blending improvements, but you haven't noticed. You haven't noticed because you have to turn it on a per brush basis. So, I haven't bothered with that yet. What I was trying to say before I had a coughing fit was the arm on the right now looks a lot more three-dimensional than the one on the left to me. And that's what I'm trying to get across here. And so just all of the angles that are facing that way, start doing some reddish stuff like this. And again, this layer is just kind of blending with everything I've already done. Which is why I can be kind of loosey-goosey with this, because it's already, most of the volumes and stuff have already been established. Oh, sorry about that. All right. These things are starting to turn that way. We'll make them a little warm. And we'll throw a little bit of that warmth in here. Make it look like it's reaching down in the crevices a little bit. It gives it some depth. And just anything that looks like it might point that way. I'm trying to find all of those little spots. And this also allows me to spread some of that warmth into the image, and so it's not just you know, a lot of red in one spot. But I am being, you'll notice I'm not even really letting this get to red. Like it's kind of getting into like a purpley color, because I don't want any red anywhere except on his head and shoulders and that blood. Like the uniqueness of that red is very, very powerful, from a visual standpoint. And like technically this whole area is kind of facing that way, and so I can kind of lean all of that a little warmer. The per brush thing, didn't use that yet either. So many brushes. Yeah, I mean, if it works, I mean, I use like a couple brushes. It wouldn't be a lot to mess with, but I'm kind of I don't know. That's a big jump for this is like what they call mission critical computer. You know what I mean? So I'm not about to jump into a new version until I find out that you know, everybody else is, it's working for them. I'm thinking. Just thinking again. Oh no. I'm trying to see if I like a little more warmth on this stuff. That should definitely be warmer. Yeah, a little bit doesn't hurt. A little bit doesn't hurt. And let's get in here. I think we can push the detail on him a little bit. I'm going to make a couple of quick selections so I can see what this does. That looks about right. And now I'm gonna tighten all of this up real quick. And again, like I'm being a little bit looser with this because he's smaller, but not that loose, just enough to make this a little bit more interesting. And again, this is just a levels adjustment. That's all it is. It is only brightening right now. Well, Kurt, you said you should never only brighten. You know, that means that you're not adding any other hue and you're not changing any of the, right? But like this levels adjustment is working with all of those other, you know, little color variations that I've put in here. And so it's not just a brighter version of what's there. Like this is actually warming a little bit. It's doing some other stuff, you know. It's not just a straight up brightening, you know. And again, this is much faster than picking a whole bunch of colors. And I mean, it's like mathematically correct. I mean, and so your colors can get really boring very quickly if you don't know what you're doing trying to do this. I will say that. Yep. And so the values are bringing him out a little bit more, but the hue and saturation levels are still similar to the rest of the background. So when you back off of this, or look at the little thumbnail over here, sorry, it slipped down. That area from a big picture standpoint is just warm. It's just warm. That's all it is. But it needs to be warm because I want it to contrast with all the cool in the foreground. So we've got a lot of value changes, but the hues are very subtly shifting. There's warm brown, grays, and reds and whatever, but they're not jumping all over the place as much as they are up here. Does that make sense? Hey, Kirk, how's it going? Looking great. Hey, Dennis, what's up? By putting an overlay hue over grayscale, are you not effectively only brightening? No, not at all. Like, yeah, go back and watch what happens when I was doing the overlay stuff. Like, it was not only brightening. That's the point, is it doesn't brighten unless you want it to brighten. So I stayed very neutral in the tones and overlays so that it didn't brighten. Probably my favorite cover you've done so far. Wow, amazing. I'm with you. Here's the thing. I want this guy to hire me again. So when Mr. Steve Kurth looks at this cover, hopefully in a little bit, he'll go, "Hey, what was that guy that did that crazy ass cover with me?" So, in fact, that's pretty much always what I'm trying to do. But yeah, no, this is incredible. The artwork was incredible before I got it, is what I mean to say. But yeah, it's I do feel like I leveled up on this one or something. Anyway, let's finish our boy here. Actually, we could cool him off a little bit and it would still be okay. I probably got a layer for that here somewhere. Where is, oh yeah, that one. Again, I'm just taking the saturation out and look what happens. Like, this is the orange layer that's tinting these guys that color. Okay? I'm only desaturating it, and because of how overlay works, it's going to start bringing out that underlying color. So like a black suit is going to reflect less of the environment than the chrome. The chrome's going to really reflect the color of the environment. And so this is just a really easy way to get a lot of push, pulling, you know, cool, warm, you know, saturation action, because it just gives you lots and lots of flexibility. You know, so I can I like a little bit of cool coming out of these guys. It's not overpowering the thing or anything like that. So I'm down with it. I do want to see what this looks like if it was cooler instead of oranger. I just want to see. It might be a little too much, but yeah, it's like too cool. I just want to go gray. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'm done with that. Oh, and that needs to be changed too. Sorry. Now, look at that cool color. It's like it's orange. It's still orange. And oh, that should be changed too. Dang it. Sorry, I keep forgetting little parts of this. There we go. All right, is he done now? I brought back a little bit of that orange, just a little bit. And the only other thing that I'm thinking about is if we bring him out a little bit more. Again, like my values they're not changing enough through here, I don't think. So do I like that? I think I do. Yeah, that background's changed a few times. But questions, comments, concerns? Kurt's tip for getting hired: to do good work. Yes, that is the secret. That is the pro level secret. You have to do good stuff. As always, free lesson from the Kurth himself. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. I made Krishna D. Appreciate it. For covers, what kind of deadlines do you get? If you had to guess, what's the average time an editor gives you to complete? That is a good question. With covers, it's very, very often very last minute. The reason for that is when you do your solicitation for previews, it's the book, that goes to all the shops and they order their books from it. In order for the cover to appear in that, it has to be ready about 3 or 4 months ahead of the rest of the book. That's a long time, so you're like, you might be working on issue 1 interiors, but turn in like cover number 4 or 5. Like that's pretty much how it works. And so because of that, and it was not the case with Tim here, but very, very often it's like, oh my God, we need this cover yesterday. That's been my experience, but I tend to stop working with people like that whenever I can, because it drives me insane. Vault does really good with having, I'll get a week, a week or 2, every now and then they'll, okay, this came in last second, we got to get this out, blah, blah, blah. It's due in 3 days, 2 days. Can you do it? It happens, that's very rare. Normally things are planned a little bit better and that kind of stuff. I just finished in cover for the first trade. Congratulations, by the way. Almost 2 months before issue 1 came out. Yeah, that sounds about right. At this point, I would rather be as fast as this than better. I think this cover proved to me that I cannot compete grayscale to color versus color. To get this much detail in 2 hours is batshit insane to me. Pardon my French. Because I'm a pretty fast colorist anyway. And this really, really surprised me. So I think there's a couple more things that are bugging me that I want to address very quickly. I picture his I imagine his shoulder pads being a little bit more reflective than the rest of them, and so I'm gonna put in some warm stuff down here that will make it look like it's more reflective, because when you have something that is like highly reflective, like it reflects all the colors, like it reflects all the colors really strongly. And so what this does is it makes his shoulders look like a little bit of a different material than the rest of, you know, his costume. And I'm gonna blur some of this together a little bit. I kind of don't mind it looking kind of handmade now that I'm looking at this. You get really close, you can see it. Like my texture work in this looks like it was maybe hammered out now. But anyway, you guys want to get really, I haven't actually zoomed up really close to this one yet to show y'all, but where is 100%? Good Lord, this is a big cover. Yeah, there's 100%. And you can see, like, you can see all my little stuff in there. This was something, it took me a long time to understand that, like, it doesn't need to look perfect at this scale. It just has to look good there. You know? What else? Sorry, I just noticed there's a lip on the bottom of his mask, which would be perfect for that. So much better. Much better. I haven't done a single thing over the lines on this. I don't think it needs it. Yeah, like, I think it's all right. Let me sign it. Oh my God. I can't not do what I'm about to do. I'm sorry. Where is, dang it, there we go. We're done. It was destiny, he says. Oh man. I hope someone notices that. Maybe. Oh, that's funny. When coloring, what is too far when zooming? So as not to ruin it. Well, it's not about ruining it. It's about just like wasting too much time on things that don't matter. Like, I mean, this cover on my screen to be like comic book size, like this is a 13-inch screen, so I can't actually show a full comic book size on this monitor. I do on my other monitor, but I'm trying to look. Yeah, it's not even actually that big. It's more like, let me see if I can, what if we do, is that about it? Nope. How do I manually zoom slow? Is that a thing? Can you do that? I don't know. Yeah, but even that is a little bit bigger than a print comic. I'm actually literally holding the book up to see. To me, this is where it needs to look good. Okay, about this scale. Let me do this. And in this particular cover, it's 6,400 pixels tall. That's the 25%. You know, because even here, I can't really, like, I can make out all of the detail that I could see if this was on paper, you know. Now if for the people that are buying digitally on the iPad, they get them. They're pretty damn big. Like they'll probably get up. They're like this, maybe this even. Like they're getting into that range. And so I do think. I mean, I look at some books on my iPad and zoom up on some stuff, and I'm like, yeah, this was not meant to be read this way. Like you shouldn't be able to take a panel that is like this big on the page and blow it up on an iPad like this and then complain about the colors. So like it's one of those things. Yeah, I think I could work on this for eternity, and it would just work. Because I'm seeing all these little places that maybe we can dress it up a little bit more, and I'm like, no, you don't want to start that, because then you'll want to do that. Don't give that mouse that cookie. Then we're doing all this stuff. Anyway, yeah, I should probably take a break on this one and see. I didn't do any bright colors really on here, did I? Sorry, I'm fixing some of this real quick. Yeah, I'm sure I'll find other things that I'm not doing right. But is there any other questions before I wrap this up for today? Thanks again to everybody for coming and hanging out. This was a really fun cover. I feel like I learned some stuff myself, maybe, which is always good. That helped. That helped a little bit. And let's see real quick. I'm going to, on a hard light layer on top, just a little bit of a glow there, as if the light is just, or these stars are, is very, very bright. Maybe on his head a little bit. I don't want to do it too intently, but and again, this is all like super subtle. I don't want to like push this to insanity here with a bunch of glows and whatnot, but a couple of them here and there will look cool. Make this thing look very reflective. Very shiny. I don't like any of that, really. Best cover I think I've ever done. I will say that. I think I agree. Somebody said that earlier. I have the confidence now to say that. I don't know what this. What is this? What is this self-esteem? Do you guys know anything about that? Self-esteem? I think I got a little. I don't know what to do. Have fun in New Orleans. Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot. Thanks again for the great stream. Really glad I was able to tune in. I got a lot from this. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad you guys enjoy it. I'm gonna send this over to Tim and see what he thinks, and hopefully fry his brain. So take care, guys. We'll do this again next week. Hey, check the links in the description and click buttons and buy stuff. All right, bye.